meeting with the bank executives, there was no positive news, and no pulling back from the brink. He was going. Back at the Fontainebleau, he put his Stonehouse passport and money into his document case, leaving them in his room, and leaving his ticket for Los Angeles on the bedside table. He had planned to go there the next day to meet Harry Wetzel, the president of an aerospace company, the Garrett Corporation. Then he changed into swimming shorts and a shirt and headed for the beach. Leaving his shoes and shirt on the veranda, he got in the sea. He felt the water washing away the tensions of his past, like a baptism. He swam towards the Eden Rock. The sea and beach were deserted. After changing into the spare clothes he'd left in the phone kiosk, he strolled to the road, hailed a taxi to the airport, collected his suitcase with all the Joseph Markham paperwork, and flew to Houston. From there, he flew to Mexico City, exiting the USA as Markham. The plan was to catch the once-weekly Qantas flight from Mexico City to Sydney, but there had been an agonising delay causing him to miss the flight by 10 minutes. The quickest way to get to Australia now was to catch a flight from Los Angeles, so the next day, the 8th, he caught a plane to LA, entering the USA and booking into the airport Marriott Hotel as Markham. He wanted to rest until the flight later that night, but he'd stayed at that hotel before as Stonehouse, and the memories came flooding back. The planned meeting with Harry Wetzel had not been cancelled, and his offices were only yards away. They'd been due to discuss a report he was writing for the Garrett Corporation on the future of the British aircraft industry, which, as a former Minister of Aviation, he knew a great deal about. He decided to attend the meeting anyway, although he would now be late, and walked there. With each step, he felt Markham ebbing away, and Stonehouse returning. On his last visit to Wetzel, he'd noticed a book of M.C. Escher prints on the bookshelf, and it now seemed as he sat in that office that his state of mind was reflected by Escher's labyrinthine puzzles and faultless blending of day into night, night into day, up to down, and down to up. By the time he returned to the Marriott Hotel, Markham had gone, and it was Stonehouse who opened the room door. He felt disembodied, one half in California, the other missing in Florida. In mental turmoil, he phoned my mother. She remembers it as a short, garbled call in which he said he couldn't take it anymore. She thought he meant that he couldn't take any more stress of trying to make business deals, not that it meant his whole life. He told her he might not be back in time for the Remembrance Day service at his constituency, due to take place in 2 days, on Sunday the 10th, and asked that if he wasn't back, could she go in his place. She wasn't surprised to find him calling from LA, as he had planned to be there, but what she didn't know was that his passport and clothes were in Miami, and he'd stayed the previous night in Mexico City. Reluctantly, he decided to return to London. He later wrote, "The pain and anguish of returning to Stonehouse was intense. Markham, for his part, resented the intrusion on his plans. He could see no point in returning to the empty charade in Britain. But Markham would not fight the blood ties which were dragging Stonehouse back like a powerful magnet." There were no available direct flights, so he flew to Atlanta, arriving at 4 a.m. on Saturday the 9th, and caught a connecting flight to Miami. When he arrived back at the Fontainebleau Hotel, it was clear that nobody had noticed he'd been gone almost 2 days. He felt as though he didn't really exist. After a short nap, he woke to the full horror that he was once again in his Stonehouse personality. The horror of it hit me like a sledgehammer. Once more, he felt he had to escape. Again, he left all the Stonehouse belongings in his room, took some clothes for Markham to the Eden Rock Hotel, and went for another baptismal swim in the vast blue ocean. He wrote later that this time it was different. Markham was stronger and determined to succeed. The philosophical haze of the previous swim was replaced by a harsh, strong light. I could see it all clearly now. Stonehouse must definitely die.